Okay, so I continue to share, more about my diet tonight and the dietary changes and lifestyle changes and hopes for finally having success. Usually I say that if I have a little bit of Halloween candy, it's all over for the entire year. But I don't want to look at it like that because I just had some Halloween candy the other day. But guess what? I didn't have it every day, and I'm not going to let it just sink me for the entire year. Good Lord. Anyway, as I've mentioned, I had a death in the family. I did a lot of emotional eating during that time. I had a family member who had a birthday. I made lemon pie. Of course, I had a big piece or two before I went home, came back home. I've had ice cream. You know what? I'm not going to go for the rest of my life without ice cream. In fact, I heard that if you have frozen yogurt, that's actually healthy a couple of times out of the week. It's all in balance. It's just that for me, it's really hard. Once I get a little bit of sugar, I just don't stop. So I try not to have sugar in the house. I just gave away some of my sugar that somebody else had just given me to have on hand for somebody who wanted coffee that day. Um, anyway, so when I started to sleep better, I was able to have a little more regular times for cooking. I didn't have any energy to cook regular meals. I would just grab things like cottage cheese and yogurt and actually like protein shakes. And when you go a little bit too far with the protein shakes, you are adding a lot of powder to the shake, and that can actually contribute to dehydration. Well, I've struggled with dehydration all summer. As mentioned, I had a bad incident, and I have a scale that kind of tells me what my hydration is. I can kind of tell how I'm doing. I'm supposed to have 47%, but I'm here to tell you that when I have 47%, I am dehydrated. So I think everybody's different. I feel better when I'm like 48.5%. So if you have too much tea and coffee, that can dehydrate you. Okay, so that's just one factor, but hydration is important for weight loss. But now back to the changes I've gone through. More than a year ago, I had just gone through intermittent fasting. I'd lost about 20 pounds. I haven't gained it all back, but I went through like super high stress situations, and then when I got the kitten, I wasn't hardly cooking at all. She is very high maintenance. Her breed is just that kind of breed where she has to be played with a lot, and we were dealing with a lot of changes as to whether she was going to be an indoor cat, an outdoor cat. Um, I had a lot of work to set up a catio, how to keep her warm when it was 20 degrees. Even here in the deep south, it got down to 20 degrees for quite a few days. So just we went through a lot of stuff, and then with moving, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that life happens, and I reacted. I didn't have time or didn't feel that I had time and energy to make a meal. And also, I was trying the high protein thing where you cram a lot of protein into a shake, or you fix a high protein breakfast made from oats and yogurt and nuts and grain, things like uh, flaxseed meal and stuff like that. So I think maybe when you're stressed, you're eating too fast and then you eat more and you get too much protein. So that can be an issue too, because too much protein can raise your blood sugar. And if you're following any of these dietary um, trends nowadays, you know that when you raise your blood sugar, you increase what you're putting down is in fat. Pardon me. So I've gone through that the stage of testing my blood sugar. I've gone through the stage of testing my blood sugar and kind of figuring out what I do that makes it rise. And stress is a factor, hydration, how well you slept, it all factors in. So what I'm having to do right now is just go back to healthy carbs like beans and rice and yellow split pea, yellow lentils actually is what I'm trying. And I'm going to try some other things like I bought some tempeh the other day and I really, really like it. I did go through a vegan stage earlier in life and I do like that lifestyle. I do like, I know how to cook that way. But I want to do it differently because if you eat too much rice or too much beans, then you can gain weight too. But I've been away from it for so long that I really am enjoying it. So watch me, watch me adjust to that. I mean, but I'll tell you one thing I'm pretty good at is staying away from bread. Uh, here in the neighborhood, there's like bread that's given around, shared around the neighborhood, and I don't go for that really cheap bread, that's thin and, yeah, sure, I'd love to make toast and have butter on that. Good thing I don't have a toaster, huh? Yeah. So, that's what I'm gonna be trying now because 'cause I've gone through the, intermittent fasting, the low carb, the keto, keeping track of my blood sugar. Then I tried the really high protein. I thought about doing carnivore, and I just can't do that because there's only certain meats I really like, and I didn't grow up eating organ meats. And, we quit eating meat when I was very young. So, other than incorporating more meat into my diet, like I just made Spanish rice and I used ground beef in that. There's all kinds of ways that I'm incorporating a little bit of beef part of the week. It's not an everyday thing, but my bone mass has gone higher, and that's very important right now because, that I have osteopenia, which is precursor to osteoporosis, which is very dangerous. So that can actually cause you to become bedridden. So it's a very serious thing. You can lose height and your bones become brittle. I just had a couple of people I know of that broke their hip and they're in rehab, and it's really, you know, not something I want to go through. So we're all going to be careful not to break anything. But if we do, we don't want to have brittle bones. We want a quicker recovery, and we don't want it to be the downward spiral that they talk about if you break your hip. So, I'm here for the long haul. I have a cat to take care of, by the way, if you hadn't guessed. And I look forward to sharing more of her um, beauty and, cute things that she does. If I could just learn how to capture that, you know. So, anyway, you have a good week. And if you want me to discuss any of these topics further, like the keto, how did I do the keto? Whatever questions you might have, feel free. Thank you. I appreciate any questions. Bye and have a good Monday.